The forecast calls for snow tonight, but the expectation, there'll be plenty of heat once things are off and running. USL Championship action brought to you by Underline drops us inside Widener Field, where New Mexico United meets Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. And hello everyone, former member of the U.S. women's soccer team, Casey White. I'm David Gascon. Thanks for hanging out with us on ESPN. Casey, we take a peek right now at the Western Conference standings, top to bottom. Sacramento is the cream of the crop.
They have been absolutely rolling with 14 points at the top with that 4-0 win over the Switchbacks. Switchbacks are in 4th place, only 4 points behind, so those full 3 points while at home could go a long way.
But a little alarming for New Mexico, right? The one win of the season was in their season opener against Miami, but since then, some turbulent times.
It has been, and this would be a huge game for them to really just kind of change the momentum of things and try to work their way up the standings.
That'll lead us into our Modelo player to watch tonight. Who do you got for Colorado Springs?
For Mario Williams, 2 goals on the year already. Just a dynamic player up top, does really well with Malik Foster in that role. He's really a player that only needs that one opportunity, and he can put it away.
Speaking of putting it away, there's always that counter. So with what Williams does for Colorado Springs, there's someone in particular that does the same for New Mexico.
Yeah, and one of the big players for New Mexico United is Justin Portillo. He is someone that just really pulls the strings in midfield. He doesn't play in that center forward role, but he's a player that really is clean on the ball, plays in spaces, and really sets other players up to be successful.
Yeah, and that's huge, right? Because New Mexico's had problems scoring this season, but Portillo brings a different element to the party.
Every time he's on the ball, it's so calm, and he can break lines with his passes, and he draws a lot of attention. So that's something they're really going to need tonight in order to get a result.
Well, and for New Mexico, that they have dominated the all-time series against these two squads. Coming up on their side, we'll see if they can continue that trend. Up next, starting 11s and first touch. It's New Mexico United, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC coming up next. And we are live here at Widener Field with Casey White. I'm David Gascon. Our player walkout brought to you by Children's Hospital of Colorado. Colorado Springs in New Mexico, ready to get this thing underway. We got the youngins on the pitch first with the professionals. And Casey, that brings us into tonight's starting lineup brought to you by Phil Long. Who do we got for the home team?
And we're assuming they'll be in this 3-5-2, but Maka King did get a red card in the last game, so Oscar Agrin's coming into that center back role. They could go into a 4-back, but this is their normal look here with Lacroix and Mahoney on side-by-side. And then Romario Williams, we talked about earlier, partnering up with Malik Foster. There's going to be a lot of firepower going forward.
On the youngin' too, Oscar Agrin, the 24-year-old on loan from San Jose. Bright new face for the home team. On the flip side for New Mexico, just one win on the season for Zach Prince.
And this is a team that's coming out exactly like they did in their last game, same starting 11. So there's some consistency there. Portillo and Hamilton really big in how they want to play with breaking lines, but look for Doling and Moreno to try to create opportunities going forward for this team.
Yeah, it is one of those elements where you look at the conference standings in the West. It's still a young year, but all of a sudden you get down 3, 6, 9, 12 points. That's a hole that you can't dig yourself out of once you're in the months of, let's say, June and July.
You're absolutely right. And so little gains make a big difference. So just trying to kind of right the ship a little bit, get at least a point, especially on the road, but 3 points would just be perfect for New Mexico United.
It'd be perfect for Colorado Springs for a couple different reasons. First off, New Mexico has dominated these guys in years past. They are 9-3-1 all time against Colorado Springs. Now, I know the faces, the elements, the scenes change a little bit, but does that work in any kind of positive factor for New Mexico?
It can. It really depends year to year just how the roster is built, but that is definitely something that they can use to their favor from a motivational perspective just prior to the game. Like, we can come here and we can take points away.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just an eye-popping number when you think about it. You're talking about two clubs that, you know, some have had success, others not so much. Colorado Springs last year, they were one of those teams that many people thought would win the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, Haji Berry's gone. Misha Galina is gone. Those two players accounted for all of their offense as this thing is underway. Colorado Springs moving from right to left on your screen. New Mexico will be moving from left to right. Temperatures at first touch, a comfortable 32 degrees. I don't know, you're from Colorado, right?
Yes, I was born there. I have family there. I don't know if I still think that's a comfortable temperature, but they might.
See, the one element, too, that's nice, at least it's 32 degrees, but the wind is not a factor yet.
That's huge. That's huge. That would make a big difference.
Absolutely. So we'll see how this night goes along. There was a couple different elements tonight where we thought there'd be some snow, some heavy snow, but so far Mother Nature has been cooperating with us, so we'll see if it continues into the good night. Colorado Springs so far this season, 3-2-1. They're undefeated at home at 1-0-1. On the road, 500 ball at 2-2. And for New Mexico, they've only played one game at home. So they're 0-1, and on the road, 1-2. So you look at their wins and losses, they have 4 points right now where Colorado Springs has 10. But obviously a lot can change. Enriquez, that insert broken up nicely. And New Mexico trying to counter and switch the pitch if they can. Moreno gave that one away. Joshua Encarnacion, the lead official tonight, calling his first foul. And it'll go against Hamilton. Taking a peek at Sam, making his fifth start in 5 matches.
And Echeverria there just trying to change the point, just coming in a little bit too aggressively, just with the body there to draw the foul.
Colorado Springs, they had a fantastic season last year. 17 victories, 13 defeats, and just 4 draws. And they were pretty darn good here at Widener Field. 10 up, 4 down, 3 draws. On the road, a little troublesome, but again, you lose a guy like Haji Berry. Berry had 16 goals last season for them.
That is big. That is huge. And there's a couple different ways you can kind of look at that. Do you have another player that can score that many, or do you do it by committee? And I think that's something that the Switchbacks are having to find this year, is multiple goals from different sources.
Yeah, and Haji Berry, he transferred near the tail end of last season, the regular season anyway, to Future FC in Cairo, Egypt. And that's just a gut shot to the whole organization. You're happy for him. You want to get that money. You want to get the opportunities in a different league. But of course, you're also thinking me, me, me. And when you had a legitimate shot of winning it all last year, you lose your #1 striker. And all of a sudden, now you're looking for offense in other places.
Yeah, it's definitely hard just with the timing piece of it. And you almost go, okay, now that they're into next year, okay, who can step in and fulfill those roles? And that can be quite difficult, like you said. You can't really replace that, but how do you figure out what that new look looks like going forward?
And for New Mexico, they've only been in the USL Championship since 2019. See here on the approach. Don't have numbers on it, and it'll result in a goal kick here for the road team. Get a good look at Williams, who we spotlight at the top of the show. Romario from Jamaica making his 7th start in 7 matches so far this year. He's logged nearly 500 minutes coming into tonight's contest. He was with New Mexico last year. So you trade the kits for one team and in for another, and familiar faces, just switching chairs a little bit, if you will. Foster out wide. Williams lined up at the top of the box, moving around. Nice move by Foster, trying to insert that to Williams. That play was broken up nicely and immediately rejected, but Colorado Springs will maintain possession here. You played in all kinds of weather, Casey. Playing in cold bother you at all?
Not really.
No.
And like you said, you mentioned the wind earlier. That can be a factor, and obviously there can be other elements, but not necessarily. I think it's some people are more used to it than others. Maybe the altitude is another piece that New Mexico has to maybe be thinking about a little bit. But like you said, with their past record against the Switchbacks, it probably hasn't been too much of an issue. Yeah,
I was going to say you were in that. So as someone that was developing and playing in that, how easy is it for you to play in it as opposed to someone that's maybe coming in from the outside, coming from California or Florida or New York, places that don't have that kind of elevation?
It's just something you don't think about when you're used to it, but it's just about the preparation, I think, for any club that comes in. You know, how many days can they come in advance? You know, how are they able to supplement their training? So on game day, it's not something that's a huge consideration.
And the sleep regimen too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
it's huge.
Absolutely.
Out wide, New Mexico trying to attack with Moreno, feeding it forward. Schwartz gave it a good run here, but broken up nicely by Christian Herrera. Herrera's gone wire to wire so far. Goals against average at 117. Save percentage at a ripe 720 with a couple clean sheets on the year.
And the Switchbacks have elected to stay in their 3-back, but what's a little bit different than we've seen in the past is Foster's playing off that right side. It's not so much in a 2 front. They're more in a 3-6-1, so it's allowing Foster to get into those wide spaces.
But you mentioned at the top that these pieces are interchangeable. What makes them possible to do that?
Well, I think it's your personnel, like what players, the aspects of their game, their qualities, where they can play, and they have a lot of interchangeable pieces, the Switchbacks. And sometimes when you lose a player like Maka King, you could change the system of play, or you just have to figure out what personnel is available and how that best matches up with your opposition.
Doling trying to make an approach on that. Agrin, who was just called up only in his 2nd match in USL Championship, on loan for the rest of the season courtesy of San Jose. He was drafted just last year, 13th overall. On the approach here though, Enriquez wanted to get it back, could not. But Colorado Springs maintaining possession here. That shot on goal. Tambakis with an easy stop. First one of the night for him. Alex, 150 goals against average. Save percentage at 538 with 1 clean sheet on the year. The hometown faithful. That's one way to heat up. Keep yourself nice and warm.
Exactly.
Bang that drum all night.
It'll be fine if the snow comes in.
For sure. Moreno. Mondo gave it up, got it back. New Mexico this season, 4 goals that they have scored. They've conceded 6. Those things, for the most part, even themselves out. You're talking about goal differential and where teams are aligned in their respective conference standings. Segrist. Enriquez. Jairo gave it up. Passed just a little bit off the mark. But good job of footing here for Colorado Springs, maintaining possession. Good touch passing here at the top of the box, outside. Foster, that cross is intended for Segrist. No connection made just yet. Lacroix, poor feed. Intercepted nicely there though by Williams. Williams just a little bit off the mark there in that pass. You see the frustration from Colorado Springs, but overall some pretty good creativity.
You can see that they're really getting some sustained possession early on. There's a few missed touches, 2 by Skundrich there, right in those areas where there could have been an opportunity on frame. But the wide spaces so far have been really good to the Switchbacks, is being able just to keep the ball and really pin New Mexico in.
And they're one of those teams in USL Championship that plays to the angles. They're not direct.
Right, there's a lot of off the ball movement and really trying to connect, you know, get 2 or 3 people, create overloads in those wide areas, and they've done well so far.
Moreno fought off there by Lacroix. Nice defense by Duke. Not too much in terms of body contact, and they play on. Now, with the way that Colorado Springs is aligned and how they attack, how does that make New Mexico approach things in a match like this?
Well, I think when you're on the road, you have to think about it first of all, too. Like, they don't want to make any, you know, silly mistakes early in the game, New Mexico United. You want to keep the game kind of even as far as letting Colorado Spring Switchback, kind of get that motivation down a little bit. But the way they're setting up, there's pulling out the outside backs of New Mexico United, and that makes it hard on them because their midfielders are also making runs through the back line.
And so in situations like this, when you are on the road, are you more cautious, or are you just thinking about, hey, make sure that they're not on the board first?
I think it depends on the club, and we just take a look at that last foul there. That's 2 versus 1 and drew the foul there for New Mexico United. But I think it depends on, you know, the manager and the staff and how they approach that. But it's a long season, so
Sure.
1 point's better than nothing.
Sure.
So just making sure that you can settle in and kind of make sure the crowd doesn't play a factor early on and all the energy from the home team.
Sure, and it's one of the things you talk about it with getting some kind of points. Las Vegas, the one team right now that's staring at no losses on their year. Las Vegas plays tomorrow against Miami. They're 0-4. So you get something, anything, at least 1 point. You stack those draws up. It won't take you very far, but at least it keeps you out of the loss column.
Right, and the quality of the league is just so incredibly high that you can't just go in and just expect to only play your way every time. There has to be that scouting report done and what is going to work here on the road versus this type of team. What do we have to do tactically to make sure to slow the Switchbacks down?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, because that's what we were talking with Stephen Hogan about just a few days ago. Colorado Springs got blasted by Sacramento 4-0, but Hogan said that the score really wasn't indicative of the way that they had played. Moreno here on the intercept. Just could not maintain possession there. It was broken up for a brief moment, but peeled back Sergio Rivas. Rivas missed some time early this season because of an injury, but now he's back on the pitch here today. Just his 4th match of the year and 3rd start. Playing out wide. Millar with the cross. A little too long and just a bit too tall, but Moreno controlling. Moreno trying to pull the trigger just outside, looking for Hamilton. That one was led a little bit too far out for him. Picked off and intercepted by Williams. Now Williams doing a good job of just maintaining possession here. Segrist with an angle and some support. Right idea, poor execution. That pass was broken up nicely.
You can see how much space is available in those wide areas, especially in transition to the attack. And as this game goes on, the more the Switchbacks can figure out how they want to attack in those wide spaces, it's going to be dangerous.
See if it develops here. Echeverria, that one crossing, stays away though. Colorado Springs so far this season with the 11 points. Goal differential for them is also -2. Oh, Foster got taken down. And I'll tell you what, the look on his face, Moar is disgusted with somebody. Might be Encarnacion, the lead official today, or the far side official that was talking a little bit. But Foster earned that. So we got a set piece in a dangerous area of the pitch today for New Mexico. We'll see how Colorado Springs approaches this. Enriquez looks to be taking it. And these are the moments that are far and few for a lot of clubs, Casey. Gotta imagine if you are Stephen Hogan, you're chomping at the bit here. Enriquez way too strong on that effort. Poorly executed there, as headed away by Yearwood.
And you're right, the organization in the box there is just a missed opportunity. Maybe that ball is good if there's a back post run, but nobody's in that back post area. But set pieces can just be so crucial, especially with how much that Colorado Springs is attacking. When you get those opportunities, you certainly want to take advantage.
Was that a lack of communication there, do you think, or just poor execution?
I actually liked the ball. I think it's just the organization of the runs in the box, just being a little bit cleaner. I obviously don't know exactly what they're trying to do, and maybe it was supposed to be near post and he mishit it, but there was nobody in that back post part right by the 6-yard box.
Fair enough. Match is just underway. We're only into the 15th minute here. Each keeper has had one touch so far, but nothing harmful just yet. And we'll keep you updated in real-time standings as the night goes along. There's plenty of action across USL Championship today and tomorrow. And then, of course, the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup as well, as Enriquez goes down there. He gets taken out. Schwartz and Hamilton in close proximity.
And just look at this right here, just very nifty footwork, using his body to keep the ball, and then goes right between the two defenders, Hamilton and Schwartz, a case of not knowing who's going to tackle. So finally someone does. And here's another opportunity to try to execute on a set piece.
So we'll see how they deliver on this one. Skipped our way into the 16th minute. Pretty good pace so far. But you can see an abbreviated wall just in front of Tombakis. Plenty of contact just outside. That strike by Williams. Oh, he sliced that thing by a good 5 feet. Most dangerous moment of the match so far, Casey.
And Romario Williams did a great job there of just turning that set piece into an opportunity, laying it off to Williams, but you're right, just not able to direct it on frame.
We'll take a peek at that again, Casey, but it looked like, at least from our angle, that was all toe from Williams.
I think it was mistimed a little bit, but maybe he was just trying to direct it on frame. A lot of times when that ball comes out to the top of the penalty area, you're just trying to get it on frame. Something's happening. The goalkeeper's vision is blocked and just wasn't able to connect.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Exactly.
It's a lost art these days. You get some players that try to be too fine and too cute just because goals are at a premium. And then shot by Williams well off the mark. Tombakis from Athens, Greece, 30 years of age. They've gone wire to wire with him so far this season, making his 5th start of the year. There's a lot of keepers that have made name for themselves in the USL Championship, and there's a certain keeper in Detroit that you got to watch out for. Speaking of watching out, Williams on a good run here. It's going to set up a corner kick for Colorado Springs.
And I like the fact that Williams did that. There were 5 retreating players from New Mexico United, so there really would have made no sense with no runners in the penalty area to even try to keep that in. This just sets up an obvious opportunity for them.
Corner kick brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank. Enriquez looks to be taking it here. This one played in. Service is out. Foster. Williams back to Foster. Nicely done. Good touch. Maybe too much juice on that. And that certainly was the case. Yearwood now trying to counter. Austin pushing it forward towards midfield and then gave it right back. So at least early on for Colorado Springs, Casey, it has been all about Enriquez on set pieces. The corners on one end and then the free kicks on the other.
And so much of the set pieces that they're earning is because they've figured out how to have sustained possession in that attacking third area. So New Mexico New Mexico United really having to play defensive. And I think a lot of it has to do with the midfield of the Switchbacks. They've created a 4 versus 3 in that midfield and the way they're set up, and it's allowing them to stay in the attack.
Trying to keep their foot on the gas. Attempt here picked off nicely. No real pressure that's come on the back line just yet of Colorado Springs. Watch out here, Moreno, just at the last second that play was broken up. Tell you what, Moreno had himself in high gear, nearly found that ball. That would have been disastrous for the home team. We play on, no harm, no foul. Segrist and just gave that thing away. Some good hesitation so far, and you see the approach by Colorado Springs, trying to put New Mexico on edge, if you will. First goal paramount, obviously, for any club, but you figure with the firepower that Colorado Springs has, turnover here, Enriquez with an open net, denied point blank from Tom Bacchus.
And that comes from the pressing of the Switchbacks. That was something Coach Stephen Hogan talked about, that both of these teams like to press high, but who is going to be able to not allow the team to build out of the back? And that was a huge moment right there as Williams was high in this area, flicks it on. Enriquez trying to take advantage of Tambakis being out of goal, but not able to do so.
Yeah, and Tambakis out far enough that almost like a shortstop reading a hop. Was just perfectly done. He volleyed it up at the last second. Great play by Alex from about 5 feet out. Nicely done by the keeper. Enriquez working long. That header off the mark by a good 10 feet. So the pressure on, but New Mexico not breaking just yet. And again, it all started because of a turnover that you alluded to, Casey. The pressure with the alignment of Colorado Springs really put New Mexico on their heels.
And Coach Hogan talked about that, which team was going to be better on the ball, because they both like to press in different ways. There's different pockets of space to get into. Which team was going to adapt and figure that out? And definitely in this first 20 minutes, the Switchbacks have been the team that's been more on the ball and been cleaner. But as the game goes on, it's still 0-0. Sure. So New Mexico United could start to figure out their rotations and start to build into the game. And
it's almost like a boxer that's taking punches, but they're not necessarily landing. New Mexico dodging and dodging and dodging. Their moment of brilliance could come later on when they're not necessarily tired because they're not chasing the match. Well, Zach Prince wants his guys to rebound. 0-2-1 after the opening affair against Miami, which they defeated Miami. You have to go back all the way to last year, tail end of August, where they had gone winless in 6 straight. One troublesome part for Zach Prince and company, they've lost 5 points from a winning position. That's the second highest this year in USL Championship. But the one element is at least you know it's there. Moreno trying to get to it, Herrera denying that. Of course, it does help when you're 6'7".
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an advantage. Wish I had a little bit of that height.
Quite the cheat code indeed. Christian Herrera is an athlete, but also blessed with size. Segrist, ambitious, but play broken up again. Echeverria. Lacroix. Touched over nicely in the left-hand side, Segrist. A couple defenders there, found a crease. And Williams trying to maneuver through some traffic, not so much. But again, that pressure denying. Ooh, beautiful concept there. And you could see the look on Skundrich's face. The body language says it all. the chances continue to move.
And it's really interesting what the Switchbacks are doing. They defensively have those 6 players in the middle third that are defending. So when they win the ball, they always have someone around them that they can connect with. Right now, New Mexico United is so pinned back in their outside back, so it's allowing the Switchbacks to just find that wide space. They haven't converted on anything in the final third, but it's a lot of pressure to have to withstand.
Sure, it certainly is. But Tambakis has been tested a couple times and stingy on both occasions. And so now you're thinking, who are some players for New Mexico that can jumpstart the offense? Darling, who's up there, or Hamilton, or Moreno? Anyone else that comes to mind for you?
Well, I think Dalling's a big one, but he just hasn't had any touches so far. Portillo, we talked about, really controls things in midfield, but it's Moreno, Rivas, and Darling. Can they get touches higher up the field?
Okay.
And if they do, they can be very dangerous. But right now, New Mexico United is just having to figure out how to withstand all that pressure in the middle third and bypass it.
Sure. Crack the code, if you will. 25th minute here. Not a lot of drama just yet. Schwartz. This one played into the box. Moreno tried to bicycle kick it, but landed on his wall, and that was it. Mondo so far this season, over 300 minutes long. Just a goal, no assist just yet. New Mexico coming off a 1-1 draw with San Diego Loyal. Next week, they have a date with Orange County SC. Colorado Springs taking that beating by Sacramento. They get Charleston on May the 5th. But it goes back to what you were saying, Casey. It's not an easy league anymore. There's a couple teams that have been displaced, but it's not going to be easy top to bottom. And I don't know about you, but I'll be curious to see how these USL Championship teams unfold in the Open Cup, as we're now into the 3rd round.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always exciting, but into the 3rd round, it gets really exciting. The stakes get really high, and they have those matchups with just such high-level teams, and so it's always fun to watch.
The tops, the bottoms, and everywhere in between, especially with some of the amateur clubs. Let's see who can pull off an upset or two. Speaking of which, Colorado Springs come in as a favorite tonight. New Mexico is a decent-sized underdog with their friends in Las Vegas, Nevada. Lacroix wanted to get it back, could not. Moreno takes a header off the back of his skull from Echeverria. New Mexico trying to switch things up. Darling just waiting for a mistake on that back line from Colorado Springs, but nothing budging just yet.
And this is already better from the last time the Switchbacks were at home against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They were pushed in a lot, but they didn't move the ball as quickly. And now the Switchbacks are moving the ball so much quicker, and it's really shifting New Mexico United. So you can see that progress just from a couple weeks ago.
So say it's almost like it works out in your favor at times when you get your teeth kicked in. Now you need to find a way to respond.
Right, and it's always hard when there's a low block or your possession forces a team to play in a low block, and the Riverhounds did a really good job, and the Switchbacks still came out with the win in that game.
Yeah.
But you can just see the style of play is quicker, and it's getting them more opportunities earlier in the game.
Enriquez. Some pretty good continuity from Colorado Springs on their set pieces. Moreno on that swing move, called for the foul. Echeverria went down. And one player we haven't even discussed tonight, Deshane Beckford for Colorado Springs. He's been silent so far amongst the many of players that we'll discuss as the night goes along. Touch passing here, but New Mexico's defense continues to be sturdy. Beckford is one of those players that'll be used by Stephen Hogan on and off the pitch when it comes to the reserves. And that shot airmailed by Williams. But that's part of the luxury of what Colorado Springs does have, is they have dynamic players amongst the starting 11 and also off the bench.
That was a different look from Romario Williams, right? Coming off the line, playing in that half space just between the midfield and the back line. Usually he's a little bit higher up, but he finds that space to get the shot off.
Yeah, some pretty good real estate he was granted there. New Mexico. Ooh, again, just missing that was Dalling. Just feels like the ball is finding Dalling on a couple different occasions. It's a matter of time.
Well, Agron did extremely well stepping into that space. I think that's a really good matchup. And Coach Hogan talked about just how he makes very quick decisions, whether it's on the ball or off the ball. And you could see it right there that he stepped right in at the right moment. But it could be a little bit scary if that continues, because it's a 1v1, and you don't want that in the center of the field. Yeah,
dangerous proposition for anybody. It also helps that Dalling's got pretty good frame at 6'2" and about 185 pounds. He can use that against Agron. We play on. Moreno into the box nicely, just a little bit too long on that approach. Rivas was lurking. Looked like they nearly timed that perfectly.
And that's a great run from Rivas, because it's coming deep from midfield. So for a back line, that's really hard to handle. If you have someone just standing up there on you the whole time, you can read it a little easier, but that one coming from deep is really well timed.
I can imagine they'll go back to the well on that. New Mexico, their last match against San Diego, that 1-1 draw, was their home opener, and Sam Hamilton had scored in that match, but he scored so early. In fact, it was in the 9th minute, but after that, the offense went rather dormant. Evan Conway with the equalizer during stoppage time in the first half, and that was it. But New Mexico, the bright signs were there. They outshot San Diego 17-11. And of their 17 shots in that contest, 14 of them were inside the box, inside the 18. Dangerous areas, but those have been far and few tonight so far. They'd love to revert back to their previous encounter against San Diego.
Well, it's so hard when you have a team that has had as much possession as the Switchbacks have had.
Yep.
The best way to keep a team from generating offense is to keep the ball yourself.
Sure.
And that's really how I feel about this first 30 minutes. And not to say New Mexico United hasn't figured out a couple ways how to get forward, but it's just not a lot of consistent opportunities because of the possession of Colorado Springs.
Sure. And the counter to any of this would be, you don't think that a team's going to be full throttle for 90 minutes. There'll be a bit of wavering. And so now it's just a matter of time if New Mexico can find those spots and make it count. Portillo. Watch out here with Rivas. Moreno on his left-hand side. Played back to Schwartz. Harry. Sandwiched between two players. Somehow found a crease, but could not keep that possession. His intended target was Rivas. Williams here, and then all the way back to Matt Mahoney. Mahoney, 7 matches, 7 starts. Area consistency is always important for a team, but especially on your back line. Williams entering the 18 now. He's there. Foster dancing a bit. This resulted in another corner kick.
That was either 6 or 7 step overs, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We might have to see that, but that was a lot right in a row. And you can see the creativity. We might see it right here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a Oh, I think that was right. I think we might have been at 7 there. But Malik Foster just looking to isolate in that wide area. And this is how dangerous it can be when their outside backs don't step up. And he creates the corner kick opportunity.
But great patience there by Yearwood to not commit.
Right. He did it textbook. Just do not watch the legs, watch the ball, and defend. And he did. And it was very good. Because that's really all he could do was defend for the corner kick.
This corner kick brought to you by McDivitt Law Firm. Echeverria. Enriquez both around. Enriquez there on that corner, but again, a little bit off the mark. Echeverria working quickly in that throw, and New Mexico pouncing on it. Yes, they were for a split second. Now they have a throw-in. It feels like New Mexico has weathered the storm, if you will. They've calmed things down a little bit.
They have, and they're looking for opportunities to play a bit more direct, whether it's a long diagonal, whether it's Tambakis playing a long service off a goal kick, just to get play higher up the field, which is smart because it allows him to get more numbers forward.
Yearwood made a great play moments ago against Foster. Foul against Mahoney. Been a clean match so far. Moreno, illegal touch there. He knew it. Mondo not giving any kind of argument. New Mexico trying to continue their trend. They're 9-3-1 all time against Colorado Springs. The clubs last year split the season series 1-1 apiece. New Mexico beat Colorado Springs 2-0 on October the 15th. Christian Nava, Daniel Bruce scored in the first half. And that was that. Nava in the 21st minute, Bruce in the 44th. Plenty of contact there. And what do we have?
It looks like it's going to be the first foul that was called, but still the referee just making sure they're both spoken to because there was that extra foul a little bit after.
Segrist getting a splash. Tell me what you saw here, though, Casey.
Just coming in through the back, had positioning the entire time. So that's the first foul that was called. Segrist comes through quite late there at the end, but already the foul being called going in his direction.
Get your money's worth right there in that contact. Segrist from the start of where he was. He joined Memphis 901 FC in January of last year. And now moving his way forward with Colorado Springs. So change in scenery, weather. Echeverria to Segrist just a little bit too long on that. I don't know how he kept that one in bounds. Segrist, top of the box. Echeverria wanted it, trying to position his way there. That shot on goal, Tambakis made an easier save than it looked like initially from Williams, who surprisingly had another lane towards target.
This was interesting coming off the corner kick, off the flag there. Segrist able to keep it in, finds Williams. I'm kind of surprised Williams came out of the penalty area because he had all the advantage there by staying in, but still finds a way to get an opportunity. Tambakis does well, to be fair, just not to allow a rebound.
That's the other thing he just mentioned, that the rebound control has been exceptional so far for the keeper. '37th minute. Make sure you hang out with us at halftime. We'll have stats, highlights, news and notes around USL Championship, and also potentially a look around the league in terms of particular affairs that are going on right now. As the night goes along, we'll also update you in real-time standings, Western Conference, Eastern Conference alike. I know there's a few surprises that are out there, and the usual suspects are still lurking towards the top of their respective totem poles. Sacramento and Lou City last year. Who will it be here in 2023?
Isn't that kind of the fun part? There's other teams that are just performing. You have, like you said, you have some of the usual suspects, but there's a lot of teams that are having better and better years, and that's just fun to see.
Conversely, though, on the other side, teams that are normally at the top you're scratching your head saying, what's going on here?
Right. It's still a little early, so, I mean, it could change a little bit, but you don't want to go too far into the season with the lack of momentum and obviously the points. It's going to get harder and harder as the season goes on to kind of climb the standings.
Yeah, because you think about not only the points, the opponents, but also the attrition factor.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's
Absolutely.
wild. So, I mean, we're highlight a few teams, but Tampa Bay and Miami, they just aren't even around. They're not even in the conversation. And remarkable, though, for Colorado Springs to lose the firepower that they had in Haji Berry and Misha Galina. You lose two of your two potent scores, and they're still almost in the same spot that were last year.
Yeah, and that speaks a lot to just the roster they put together. I've really liked the way they're playing this evening in that 3-6-1. If they continue to hold possession like they are, they're going to have to find the finishing touch, but they're hoping there'll be some fatigue there.
Watch out here for New Mexico. Rivas tries to tee that one up to no avail. And that was rejected immediately by Segrist, who just turned it around the other way. New Mexico would love to push things into the back of the net against Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs, they're winless in their last 4 when they concede the first marker. Moreno, some choice activity, and Joshua Encarnacion trying to catch up to Moreno.
There was a little too much acceleration toward the assistant referee, so he was right on top of that one.
Nothing wrong with that. It's like leaving a bar and not paying your tab. Time and place for everything. A lot of chatter right now on the pitch as we're nearing towards the end of the first half. But an active first half of ball, too. There hasn't been any kind of stoppage of any significant length anyway. Ooh, that looked like a handball.
Sure did.
Let's see who takes this. Schwartz, Portillo are both there. First real set piece of the night for New Mexico. When you're this far out too, Casey, what are you looking at if you are Justin Portillo?
Well, is there anything they can do to play short? Right now, no. The switchbacks have come into this wide space and made it a 2v2, but can you play it behind that back line where the goalkeeper doesn't want to come out?
Portillo just inside the 18. Hamilton.
And you saw them play short, and actually there was space to play it again wide that I think could have been a more clear opportunity or a clear cross. And that one to the back post, when it's lofted up that high, just isn't dangerous.
Reminds me, next week when we do a game, I'll have to get you a telestrator because you pinpointed those 2 opportunities. I wish I would have had something like a marker for you to circle it up on. As Schwartz takes the spill, and Enrique is trying to help him up.
And I think this is good for New Mexico United. It's been a hard first half for them.
Yeah.
The switchbacks have really had a lot of the possession, and it's flowing a little more for them. But on the road, getting towards halftime, now starting to kind of break up that cadence a little bit, it's better for them because they can play themselves more into the game.
That feel, and as you mentioned at the top of the show, the altitude of your lung capacity is starting to expand a little bit more, and now you feel comfortable. But keep in mind, New Mexico does play all their games in Albuquerque, so you're also looking at altitude there.
It's definitely not as drastic of a difference as someone else coming in, right, into Colorado.
Yeah, just a little bit different in terms of weather right now, but it's all good. T-Row Price corner kick for New Mexico. Make sure you invest with confidence, T-Row Price. So now we are seeing some things pointed towards the New Mexico ledger. A few set pieces here in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Portillo. He has Rivas short if you want to go that way. Portillo, though, working straight to the box. That header just not flush, though, for New Mexico. That strike is going to be airlifted well over by Moar.
And I'm really surprised that New Mexico United was even able to get on that. There were 7 zonal players for the Switchbacks plus 2 markers, and still they were able to get on that. And that says a lot because they only had 4 players committed forward on that attacking corner kick.
But Portillo putting that ball in a good spot. That would have been a backbreaker for Colorado Springs to concede not only the first goal, but to do it so late in the opening half. Simple guesstimate, I'd say we got about 2 minutes of stoppage time, but we'll see. Back to Herrera. Christian got to work quickly on that. Mahoney and Williams here playing a little hot potato as New Mexico has now increased their intensity in this moment of closure.
And until that moment, it was actually really good, the combinations to play. But we'll take a look back at this last set piece. Just being able to get ahead on it right there, and then cleared by Speedy Williams, again out. And looking for the opportunity, and it just flies over the top. But a lot of players in the penalty area there for that last corner kick.
Yeah, Portillo, good placement. It looked like it was Kalen Ryden who had that header. But New Mexico picking up the intensity, closing out this first half. They've done 2 things well. They've weathered the storm from Colorado Springs. They absorbed a little bit. And also, for all intents and purposes, they have plenty of gas in the tank. They haven't overexerted themselves.
No, they were really good collective defensively. They were able to kind of sit back. You could tell that the outside backs weren't really stepping forward. They were kind of conceding the space in front.
Yeah.
So you don't extend a lot of energy that way, and you make the opposition really find gaps to try to exploit you. And so they've done a good job of kind of, like you said, weathering the storm and then building into the game more.
See if they can continue to do something here in the closing seconds. Hamilton, that ball just a little bit off the foot. Possession maintained by New Mexico, but Joshua Encarnacion says, fellas, I got to give this thing a rest, and he does. We've reached the end of the first half of play here for Widener Field. Colorado Springs, New Mexico scoreless at the end of the first half. Casey, your thoughts through 45 minutes?
I think Colorado Springs needs to continue doing the same exact thing, but can New Mexico United get their outside backs forward and just create some more players going towards their goal?
Well, time to get something to drink. If the hometown faithful here in Colorado Springs. Players will walk off, get some hydration. First half is in the books. Match is scoreless. News, notes, and highlights right around the corner. We'll be back. Halftime right now at Widener Field. Ooh, it looks nice outside. We're indoors a little bit, trying to stay warm. Colorado Springs, New Mexico, scoreless at the end of the first half with Casey White. I'm David Gascon, hanging out with you on a beautiful Saturday night, wherever you may be, as we take a peek now, Casey, at some schedules amongst a couple of the clubs here tonight.
And this is a good schedule coming up here for the Switchbacks. First with Charleston Battery, then going to El Paso Locomotive, hosting El Paso Locomotive. There's a lot of games right in a row that are going to be big for them.
Huge for them as you see what's going on, but plenty of points to capture as well. It'll be important for them as the night goes along. We'll also look at some of the teams they're matched up against. On the flip side of things, though, for New Mexico, what do we got?
Well, all of these games right in a row is where they're going to have to try to find points. Orange County, Rio Grande Valley as well on the 5th. Loudoun United, a tough team to play this year that they'll see in a couple weeks. So it's never going to be easy to find points for New Mexico United, but they're showing well this evening. Oh,
it'll be a great test, too, when they match up against San Antonio at the end of May. But lots of things to chew on before we get to that. As far as this contest goes, we look back at Week 6, Team of the Week, and of course we had mentioned him at the top of the show with Romario Williams. But you look at a couple of the guys that jump out to you, it just feels like USL Championship is in a good spot with the talent that's littered all over the pitch.
It is, and it's all over the place from all teams. Elmed Carr did so well for Loudoun United with a goal and assist recently, and then Hamilton from New Mexico United here tonight just playing a really pivotal role in that midfield.
And Stopper there on the back line, too, for Las Vegas. They'll be in action tomorrow against Miami. One thing you don't see is Nate Steinwasser. He's been usually one of the keepers amongst those teams. The USL Championship scoreboard for tonight, one of the things that we had looked at prior to going on air this evening, Charleston and Lou City, those fellas right now are scoreless.
And a lot of scoreless results here at halftime across the league, including ours, Rio Grande Valley with Memphis 901 FC and San Antonio with Phoenix. But then you've got that high-scoring game of Monterey Bay versus Indy 11, 3-2.
5 goals in that Monterey Indy game.
They took all the goals.
Exactly. Share sub. Tonight's honorary healthcare professional of the match is William Lewick, Director of Operations, New Development at Centura Health. Thank you for all that you've done to help our community. The healthcare professional of the match is co-sponsored by Encore Electric, along with Olson Plumbing and Heating. Thank you very much as the man of the match, our healthcare professionals of the match. All that being said, we got 45 minutes still to go in this contest. It is scoreless. More to come on the other side. Back here at Widener Field with Casey White, I'm David Gascon. Nothing to write home about just yet. Colorado Springs and New Mexico have yet to reach the score sheet, but nevertheless, still plenty of action in this affair. As we now take a peek across all that is USL Championship with some news and notes.
And the Oakland Roots, they have submitted that proposal for the lease at Malibu Lot near Oakland Coliseum. Obviously, a lot of good things happening here in the USL Championship.
Yeah, Charleston, Sacramento, a couple of the teams right now in their conferences sitting at 2 of the 3 unbeaten teams. We mentioned earlier on Las Vegas is the other team that's undefeated, but that's because they have 4 draws in 4 matches. And USL Championship on ESPN will come courtesy of ESPN2 with Miami and Lou City. And then what is on tap for tomorrow?
Loudoun United takes on Oakland Roots. Loudoun United's in such good form right now, so that's going to be a big game for them. And then also Miami FC against Las Vegas Lights that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, Miami is just laboring right now, too. They're looking for offense in the worst kind of way. Callan Chapman-Page injured his hamstring just a few days ago against Detroit City. Don't know if he'll be out for an extended period of time. But that's for tomorrow. Tonight, we have action here at Widener Field. Colorado Springs trying to give their hometown faithful something to cheer for and warm up. But 45 minutes still to come. Match right now is scoreless. Back here in Widener Field with Casey White, I'm David Gascon. You see the score? The time. We're at the break right now. Halftime we are. No score just yet, but Casey, we do have some highlights, oddly enough. What do we got?
I'll tell you what, it was a lot of action in this game for it being 0-0. The Switchbacks really starting off strong, and New Mexico United, withstanding the pressure, started to get some things going forward. Moreno playing this ball in behind. Schwartz with that underlapping run from his outside back position, but Herrera does really well to collect it. But in the 20th minute, there was some opportunity here as the Switchbacks pressed really high. Williams trying to set up Enriquez, but it just goes right over the top off Tambakis.
Yeah, Tambakis from point-blank range made a good stop off the hop. And you can see the frustration because he knows he's the one that started that jump start for the opposing team. But back the other way we go.
And Switchbacks just trying to get into those wide areas. Now it's Williams right in front, trying to find that half space in front of the back line. The shot off frame in the 37th minute. A little bit of awkwardness right there going off the flag, but Sechrist, alert to it, finds Williams and just trying to find a little bit of space here to get a shot off, and he does, just to test Tambakis.
And Tambakis, though, has been sturdy as he can be. See the shots right now, 8-4 in favor of the home team. Shots on target 3-0 as well. Possession arrow is coming down a little bit because it was heavily tilted in front of Colorado Springs, but New Mexico has neutralized things on their end, and they've stabilized and set themselves up for a pretty good second half of ball.
They have, and it's now can they turn that into opportunities on frame, and the same thing for the Switchbacks. A lot of possession, but not a lot of shots on frame to test the goalkeeper.
No bookings here tonight. Macaulay King is out because of a red card last week, but outside of that, I mean, it's been clean. Only a handful of fouls, and excited about the next 45.
It's been a really fluid first half, you're right, where it's really been a lot of possession, not a lot of fouls, not a lot of things that are really disrupting the speed of play for either of these teams. So I would be interested to see how much the gaps are going to start to open up and see if there's any fatigue that sets in from either side and how the other teams are going to exploit it.
Okay, so we saw the numbers, and they tell you one thing in terms of shots, possession time, the offside, all of that. But if you're New Mexico in your Zach Prince, how much would you change?
You can go one of two ways with this. Do you want to get more attack than what you saw in the first half? If so, can your outside backs get more involved? If they get more involved, Sechrist and Foster are now defending more for the Switchbacks, and that's going to allow them to stay further back, and maybe you'll get more possession and opportunities. Or are you on the road, you're happy that you're neutralizing the attack of the Switchbacks on the road, and you're going to stay in that system of play a little more conservative and depend on those set pieces or counterattacks. I think you could go either direction.
Sure, but if you're that early in the season like we are now, it's only a handful of games in, are you more inclined to take some chances as we look at the upcoming schedule with Colorado Springs?
I think that yes and no. I'm more of the mindset of, can you get a good result? A good result on the road is a tie or a win. So
Sure.
what do you have to do that, especially when you're not in the form that you want to be in? And the Switchbacks, have a lot of games on the, coming up on the road and at home that they can get points out of. So I think tonight being at home, especially going on the road next to Charleston, they need to go after it and try to get those 3 points.
The one key point for Colorado Springs with the offense that we glow about is they've limited the opposition from not scoring a goal in the first half in 6 of their last 7 matches. So at least you know that they can close one half strong, and now it's about finishing the final 45 in style and taking away 3 points or potentially just earning it outright.
And I'm going to be interested to see, can they continue that dominance in possession? Because ultimately that usually does fatigue the opposition. Or if there are any changes personnel-wise or even tactically that either of these teams are going to make. If I'm the Switchbacks, I'm probably not changing much because there was a lot of really good possession in that first half.
And for New Mexico, they just didn't yield a shot on goal, which is a part where you think, okay, Moreno's been on the ball a lot. Sam Hamilton's been with it as well. But, hey, guys, we're going to put something on target and make Herrera make a move, make a stop, make something to think about, and put the defense on heels a bit.
And I think you're telling them we've got to do that, but you're also saying we only need one.
Yeah.
So let's be clinical if that one does come and see if we can get one out of here.
Formerly with the women's U.S. national team, Casey White, those days are behind you, but I know you do a lot in terms of coverage of the NWSL, watching the NWSL, watching the amateur athletes develop and grow. While we have a moment for these guys to get themselves warmed up, it's something you mentioned. A lot of these leagues now, the NWSL in particular, USL Championship, these players, these teams, they continue to get a lot of notoriety. And that talks about the growth of the sport here in North America, yes?
Yeah, I just love being involved in all of these aspects. I mean, the game has just grown so much, and you can just see the parity that's in all the top leagues. So
Yeah.
being involved on this side and seeing all those top leagues and just being able to view all of it and be a part of it, but also see the youth and what's coming through, it's just exciting for what's going on in the United States.
Which is fascinating for you to say the word parity, because when you think about parity in other sports, that usually results in teams that are tanking, trying to get higher draft picks and things of that nature. But not so much in these respective leagues. We feel like the top tier talent is there, and it's spread out evenly, if you will. The second half is now underway. New Mexico going from right to left, and Colorado Springs moving from left to right. Of course, with so much activity, but not a lot of offense being manufactured in the first half, and no real fouls. I got to imagine the broadcaster's jinx will get a lot of that. A lot more of the different concept here in the second half.
First 15 seconds, right?
Yeah,
already,
exactly.
already a foul.
So we'll see how things unfold into the second half. And no substitutions for either squad as well. Tambakis in net for New Mexico. Herrera between the pipes for Colorado Springs. Tambakis with 3 stops in close proximity that really helped at least ignite something with a wide open net, and another great stop, and all of a sudden it rolls in. A bad break leads to a goal, and Santiago Moore gives the road team their first goal tonight. It's 1-0 New Mexico. Wow, what a baffling move right there for Colorado Springs. And Christian Herrera is beside himself.
And I was just about to say what trust he put into Speedy Williams here, and it was a little bit of a mistouch, but what really was baffling, as you said, is Herrera didn't come across quickly when that was developing. Almost still makes the save with that 6'7" frame. But if you're watching the play, when he gave that ball to Williams, he didn't come back across his goal to be in a position if it did go wrong. So a lot of times that is, really key. What's going to happen if this does go wrong? And Moar makes him pay.
And the fans that have traveled from Albuquerque have a reason to stand up and scream. Moar's first goal of the season in the 46th minute. And we just talked about it seconds ago. No offense, no real fouls. We had a foul and then a goal in the first minute of the second half.
Yeah, and it's that one opportunity, right? And now, I mean, New Mexico United has already shown that they can play very good defensive efforts collectively, but now they're probably going to sit in even more, I would assume. It'll be interesting to see if they build into the game because of that, or they sit back and go, okay, now you've got to come at us.
5th goal of the year for New Mexico, gets them on the board. And we mentioned it in the first half. Colorado Springs is winless in their last 4 matches when they concede the first goal. See if it now reaches 5. But it's that factor of one-sided dominance. New Mexico 9-3-1 all time against Colorado Springs. And for whatever reason it may be, they have their number. But for as much as that ball initially went off the foot of the defense, and you're thinking about Williams, that really goes on Christian Herrera.
I agree with that. I mean, the style of play that the Switchbacks play is they want their players to be comfortable on the ball. They want to trust each other in tough situations. And it wasn't the perfect pass from Speedy Williams, but I can't anticipate that they're going to want them to play any differently. Yeah. That staff is going to want them to keep playing. It's what happens when there is a turnover. When there is an issue, have you put yourself in a position to make sure it doesn't turn into a goal? And that didn't happen there.
Which is funny you say that, because in the final minutes of the first half, we saw New Mexico extend their offense and increase their aggression, and it almost led to a turnover. Same thing carried over here in the second half, and it did result in a turnover. It did result in a goal.
And that's probably something they recognize is let's just pick our moments. We can't do it all the time because the Switchbacks have the quality to ping the ball around and get forward. But there are moments we're going to be able to capitalize, and they did it there.
They certainly did. So for Moore, his first goal of the season in the 46th minute. Talk about jump-starting your offense right out of the gate. Portillo's strike takes a couple of bounces towards Herrera, and he makes the stop.
And it's going to be important for the Switchbacks here to make sure that these 5 minutes after the goal that they don't concede anything else. They kind of need to settle down. They've had really good possession in this game. So just making sure that they don't allow anything else to happen is going to be critical.
We talked about adjustments. Well, Zach Prince came with something out in the second half, and his team promptly cashed in. Foster around the corner. Foster with a nice move that was broken up at the last second. Good move at the last second. And Foster enough motor to turn the corner.
And Seymour did a great job there coming across, and we'll take another look at the goal that was given up. And right there when that ball was played, Herrera is still standing on the opposite side of the 6. Moore just getting that across it. Man, he almost made that save. He almost was able to recover just for that lack of positioning, not quite able to do so.
Enriquez on the corner, working long, just a little bit too tall though. But it's a cardinal sin though. It doesn't matter if you're a keeper or a defender. You never play the ball towards the middle of the pitch, because that's where the worst things that can happen to you are at.
Well, it's definitely riskier.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I think that it was a definite risk for him to do that. But even tonight we've seen them do that and it's been successful.
Yeah.
It's just, what are you going to do if it does go wrong? There's definitely not an area of the field you want them to be in.
And Colorado Springs so far this season, they've conceded now 2 goals in the first 15 minutes of the second half. They're looking for a lot more, New Mexico is, as Moore bidding for his second. Unassisted though in the 46th minute. And at this point, if you are a New Mexico fan, you just take whatever you can get. Their first shot of the game ends up not only on target, but in the net. Yeah, it barely crossed the goal line, but it all counts the same. So that's huge. An important part too for New Mexico. They've scored a goal now in their last 3 matches, so plenty of things to at least build on.
And that piece is huge because you don't want to have a scoring drought. That's
Yeah.
more of an issue than maybe not getting a result here or there that you want. But if you're creating chances and you are able to get goals, usually if you're giving up goals to tie or lose games, you can figure out what are those small details that can help us secure a result. But it's a lot harder to figure out how to score.
Sure.
That's how the people get paid the big bucks, is how do you put it in the net? And the fact that they're doing that bodes well for them for the future.
So now it's an idea of New Mexico, which you had said, do you peel more back and play more as a reserve and don't take those chances, or you build on what you just did and try to double your lead? Foster. Enriquez wanted it, got it. Enriquez played that one in, looking for Williams. Enriquez softly touching the header, goes on goal. A nice stop again by Tom Bacchus. He didn't have to move that much on that attempt, but either way, it all counts the same on the stat sheet.
And again, it's these wide spaces. Enriquez right here, able to play it in, and Foster just rising above. It's perfect timing. It's in good placement between the 2 center backs, just right at Tom Bacchus. But it's not any different areas that are available. It's the wide spaces for the Switchbacks. It's really going to help them get back into games.
So they've had some good moments, but Tom Bacchus, he's been tall and has not panicked.
You talked a little bit about New Mexico United. Are they going to sit back? Are they going to stay? And I think for the 6 minutes after the goal, they were trying to capitalize again.
Yeah.
You didn't really see them sitting back, which totally makes sense for the momentum and going forward and seeing if you can double your lead.
Rivas, but you see all the players in their kits, the black and blue. There was a wave of that for Colorado Springs, not so much support for New Mexico. Enriquez finding a gap here for Foster. Foster with a sweet move, but it's not going to pay off for him. Are you more inclined as a player, though, to be on the aggressive side, even build on your lead, or do you want to just make sure you bag at least 1 point, but in this spot, try to get the 3?
I think there's moments for everything. And I think after you score a goal, I like to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, can we capitalize while they're a little out of sorts, the switchbacks? Can we sneak another one? Can we put them under pressure while they're rattled? So I'm all for that. I think as the half goes on, then there has to be that more professional approach of like, does it make sense? What's the risk versus reward?
Sure.
And kind of managing that. But if you feel that momentum, I think early on, you go for it.
So not be greedy, just find a way to be opportunistic.
100%.
There you go. Well, New Mexico has fared well so far. Moore looking for Moreno, just not enough lift on it. So the chances were far and few in the first half for New Mexico. And already here in the second half, they've opened up with a couple things that have bounced their way, and they have pounced on it. Moar's first goal of the season. New Mexico chomping at the bit for more. Foster.
Well, New Mexico United is getting their outside backs and their wingers a little bit more involved higher up the field. That's making Malik Foster have to defend. Anytime Malik Foster is defending, you're happy if you're the
Sure.
opposition because he has the dynamic ability and pace to go forward and create chances. In the first half, the wingers for the switchbacks weren't having to defend. And now you're seeing that change here in the first 10 minutes.
Gives the players something to think about, not only offensively, but defensively, because you know the next goal is critical for both squads. Rivas asking for it. Rivas nearly got to it in time. Outcome, though, at the last second was Herrera. Ooh, Rivas just a step off. He could have put another nail in the coffin of Colorado Springs if he'd gotten that ball. Portillo. Nice job by Williams to backtrack on that. Moreno looked like it might have gone off the defender's foot. Anyway, it ricocheted towards Herrera. And again, New Mexico extending, trying to put the onus on Colorado Springs to make the good play, the sound play.
This is building out to that wide space. The one-touch ball to Rivas, it was such a good idea. Herrera does really well to be aggressive. Schwartz just playing that ball in behind, and Rivas just 1 yard off, being able to get perhaps a toe on that, you know, past the on-rushing Herrera.
So close. Hamilton not happy with Joshua Encarnacion, the lead official tonight. Shots right now 8-4 in favor of Colorado Springs. .42 on target. This corner kick brought to you by Pepsi for Colorado Springs. Enriquez will take it. Enriquez high arcing, and that one just a little bit too tall for Mahoney.
And I think there's a mix of the delivery of the service that hasn't been great for the switchbacks and the organization of the runs, but also you have to give credit to the defensive effort of New Mexico United on all those set pieces in the first half.
Yeah.
They've been really organized defensively as well. Lots of players around the ball to challenge and make sure that there's not, at least not a clear opportunity on frame off of set pieces.
Yeah, I think that's the important part. It hasn't been clean.
Correct.
Yeah. The chances will come for every team and player, but how comfortable will they be in those propositions? New Mexico took a couple good shots from Colorado Springs early on, weathered it, neutralized them, and it provided some pretty healthy dividends here in the second half. Enriquez with great effort. Jairo working hard. Enriquez trying to place that one into the box and had a couple of teammates that were lurking. Moreno trying to make a move. Herrera comes out of his net. Moreno with a wide open net. He puts it in. There has to be a foul, I imagine the case. And Moreno says, no, that's not me. But yes, indeed, it is on you, young sir.
He couldn't believe it, huh? I'd be doing the same thing if I had just put the ball in the back of the net, just in case.
You never know. You could have one, maybe two officials asleep at the wheel. Doesn't hurt to try. And at this point, you have nothing to lose, but we could go back to this build-up.
Look at this direct play in behind, and New Mexico United doing really well there. This is scary moments right here for Lacroix. Lacroix does really good just to get in front.
Yeah.
And I don't think Moreno even had to do that little tug. They were already in a precarious situation.
Yeah, it's an odd spot for Herrera to come out with Lacroix, as you mentioned, already there, but a failed swim move indeed.
But that direct ball is something that Coach Hogan talked about, just not wanting their center backs to be allowed to play any type of clean diagonal ball or ball over the top. So that pressure from Williams and Foster up top is going to be important the more this game goes on, because if the Switchbacks put them under pressure, you know they're going to look for that counterattack and see if they can catch them sleeping in the back.
And that means to overextension at times, correct? We'll see. 61st minute. But more fireworks here in the first 15 minutes and change than we had all of the first half.
Well, this game is just so amazing in general, soccer. I mean,
and
the
humbling.
way it's changed, right?
Yeah.
The way momentum changes, and you wonder how a team is going to react when a goal happens or an opportunity happens, and it's really just changed this game on its face completely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You can play so well for a half, for a good 10-15 minutes, and all of a sudden you become snake bit, or a bad bounce, and all of a sudden you're picking the ball up out of your own net.
Well, and then frustration sets in. You could see Romario Williams up there, and the foul was drawn the other way, but Romario Williams was getting upset when he didn't get the ball.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how do the Switchbacks settle in, because the reason they were so good in the first half was their calmness, their composure, and their ability to keep the ball.
No doubt. Colorado Springs coming off a 4-0 shellacking to Sacramento. So they've given up 5 goals in the last 2 matches, while New Mexico just being steady. Their record right now is at 1-2-1, but the goal differential for them is only -1, scoring their 5th goal of the year. And for Santiago Moar, his first goal here in 2023. This corner kick brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, that's what I like. This one provided no kind of exposure against New Mexico's defense. You didn't like that corner kick, did you?
I didn't. It's just not a good service there. It's not dangerous to the near post, but there's so many players back from New Mexico United. They could almost play a short corner kick, draw a player out, or just get it more into the penalty area, more in the central part. It's a good tackle by Echeverria there. He does a great job to stop the counterattack and just make sure there's no risk involved.
Colorado Springs undefeated at home, 1-0-1. Schwartz being told to put a little pep in his step. Mahoney back to Herrera. Herrera's gaff led to the only goal of the night. Moar off a turnover, found an open lane and scored his first goal of the season. Foster. Seymour cut him off. Foster now down in agony past the goal line. And he gets up to his feet, trotting back. Enriquez. At this point, although Colorado Springs maintained the possession in the first half, New Mexico perfectly content to let them win that category here in the second half. They have the most important figure on their side of the ledger, which is goals.
Yeah, now the switchbacks are starting to settle a little bit more into that possession. So, New Mexico United for a while after that goal really pressed, and they're picking their moments, but it'll be interesting to see if they do start to sit back a little bit more or they try to keep possession higher up the field.
Yeah, they've been reading the ball well, it feels like. Moar. Couple stretch passes for Darling that were connected in the first half. Now you don't even need Darling to break a crease. But if you have that deep threat, it always gives the defense something to think about. '66th minute. Shots 10-6 in favor of Colorado Springs. Possession 57-43. Moreno here. Moreno with the touch. Darling. Left foot just misses. Oh, he tried going short side against Herrera. Trying to pick that corner, and he nearly had it.
And that turnover in midfield is just what's so crucial. The switchbacks are starting to show a little more composure in possession, but there's a little bit of that impatience and frustration that they're trying to play forward quickly. They've put Malik Foster a little bit higher, so when they lose possession, they're able to go the opposite way quickly, New Mexico United, and it becomes really dangerous. Right there was where the turnover was, and it takes two passes, one into Moreno, this one into Darling to break the back line. If that just goes on frame, I think it's a goal.
Oof. And that is an absolute finesse pass done by Moreno. That was sweet. Enriquez. I mean, the ability of Moreno just to see that seam and find it and put it on the foot of Darling. Uh-oh, chance here for Colorado Springs. Poor attempt on the other side, and it finds Twine. Wow, a broken play ends up breaking the back of Tambakis, and we're level at 1-1. The celebration is on for Colorado Springs, but I'll tell you what, Patrick Segrist got a gift, and a gift that he will not soon forget.
And that's a good advantage play on by our center official, because right through the back of Williams was there. A good first time pass to Williams, but Tambakis was going to his left, and that deflection just completely wrong foots him. Segrist, though, puts it across goal, and sometimes this is what happens. You want to put it into a space that's dangerous for back lines, and you're right. He got a bit of a gift there, but it's level, and now it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here.
Oh, our Colorado Springs goals presented by Century Casinos. Welcome to the winner's zone. Segrist in the 66th minute, his first goal of the season, to go along with one assist, and we are level.
And the switchbacks had just changed to a 3-5-2. Malik Foster was staying up top. That's with Williams. That's more what they normally play out of. But so I'll be interested to see, does Malik Foster come back into that wing back position or stay up top? Because that's how they generated that attack going forward, was between him and Williams.
So Greg Hurst now in for Josh Darling. It's our first substitution of the match. And for Colorado Springs, it's an important note, Casey, because we talked about Haji Berry and Misha Galina pretty well to open up the show. But now for Colorado Springs, they've had 5 different goal scorers with Segrist finding Twine here.
It's always good to have a player that's just a natural goal scorer, that's dynamic, that creates opportunity. But I think when you don't know where all that production is going to come from, when you do a scouting report when you're the opposition, it can be really hard because you have so many players that could produce goals.
And now they brought that back, so we're going to announce Segrist as the goal scorer, but as soon as we say that, it's now going to be labeled as an own goal for Schwartz. Colorado Springs will take it either way.
No matter what, it went in. It went in, we're level. They're going to be excited about that.
Rivas coming out is Herrera. A funky bounce, and Colorado Springs takes it either way. Interesting note for Colorado Springs. They've scored in the last 15 matches, looking for more, and the lead. A fair pass over on the right-hand side, bouncing around. It's 2-1 Colorado Springs. Well, the passing was crisp. It was fantastic. And Skundrich on the board now for the first time tonight. Colorado Springs with their first lead.
And I'm telling you, it's the two players up top, Malik Foster and Romario Williams, just causing issues for the center backs because they create a 2v2, and now all of a sudden, just in a span of 3 minutes, this game has completely changed.
Unbelievable.
All this play down the left side, Romario Williams just working in this space, playing in combination. Look at that turn from Foster. I thought he was going to go himself, drops it back into here. Speedy Williams just keeping it in play, and Skundrich is right there in front to flick it on, completely onside because New Mexico United didn't have time to step their line to catch him off.
I think the most important thing there was Skundrich is he didn't get cute with it. He just placed it right on target as opposed to settling it down, turning and firing. So that goal occurring here in the 70th minute. And for Skundrich, his first goal this season. So now we can officially say 5 different goal scorers
there you go.
for Colorado Springs. Finally.
There you go. Well, and what I love about that goal, the buildup was really nice. And when you look at the way it was finished, it was bouncing around. It wasn't the prettiest of finishes of how it was done.
Yeah.
But as a manager, when you look at that, it's organized exactly perfect how it should be done. If you can't get a clear shot, get it on frame. If you're in front of goal, just help it on. Nothing fancy, as you said. And they did that exactly right there.
Well, that goal, though, for Skundrich, brought to you by Century Casinos. New Mexico wants a little bit more. Can they generate some offense? We'll find out with a corner kick coming up. So we had nothing in the first half. And then all of a sudden, here in the second half, we've had 3 goals in the last 25 minutes.
Yeah, and it might be just a little bit of them feeling each other out in that first half. It was pretty. It was a pretty half. It was a lot of movement of the ball. To this half, it's been more effective. There's been a little more bite, a little more energy to it, along with that possession.
Schwartz here in the corner. McDivitt on this corner kick. McDivitt Law Firm, we are in your corner. Brought out. Herrera off his line. That header was going to go wide anyway, but the attempt, at least something to think about from Seymour. So if you will, for Christian Herrera, a mulligan, maybe not going to come anytime soon, but at least your offense picks you up.
Absolutely.
For Williams, the assist on the goal for Skundrich. It's his first assist of the season. So a lot of firsts happening here tonight. Colorado Springs trying to notch their 4th win of the season in 7 matches. Ooh, might have been a dive. Lead official Joshua Encarnacion says, I agree with you.
And I may be wrong, but just the feel of this game, it doesn't feel like there's not going to be another goal. It's just like the Switchbacks are energized, like they're going. And here's that first goal that was given an own goal to Schwartz there. And Seagrass, again, just putting it in front of goal. And both of the goals for the Switchbacks have been that way. Just get something in front of goal. We've got to find a way back into this game. And they do that, and good things happen.
Which is weird for you to say that you feel like there's going to be another goal, because 30 minutes ago, if I said, hey, are we to get a goal, let alone 4 goals, you would have looked at me like I was crazy.
Well, when a goal happens in the first minute of the second half, it immediately changes things. It changes the whole feel of how the game is going. And New Mexico United didn't sit back. They kept going, and they were doing a good job at it. But Switchbacks just clawed their way back in, and it doesn't feel like either team, certainly not New Mexico United's not going to stop.
Sure.
But even the Switchbacks feel like they're continuing to use this momentum to go forward.
Yeah. Now it's one thing, though, with New Mexico where they were playing in a position of strength. Now they're behind. It's going to cause them to probably push forward a little bit more than they wanted to, frankly needed to. This goes back to one of the earlier points that New Mexico had lost 5 points heading into tonight from a winning position, second highest in league play. And they will be disgusted with themselves if they lose more here tonight. Schwartz though with the own goal, and then Skundrich with his first to give the home team the lead in the 70th minute.
And I think there's been a huge tactical change, which is going back to the 3-5-2 for the Switchbacks once they gave up the goal.
Yeah.
The 3-6-1 allowed them to keep a lot of great possession, but they weren't able to get as many numbers up top around Romario Williams to support him. And so it was 4 against 1 a lot of times. Now with Malik Foster playing a little higher and Henriquez off the right, the two center backs are just always under pressure for New Mexico United, and it's allowed them to really just be more dangerous but still keep possession as well.
So Greg Hurst and Daniel Bruce are both in for New Mexico. That one played at the top of the box for Williams. Out wide, another opportunity, the wide open lane, and that shot just missed the far side. Segrist was bidding for a goal, at least his first of the night. But I tell you what, he wants that one back.
And I think he could have taken a touch here. This is great by Foster, drawing players in, and then looking to the left side was Williams. Thought there was a lot of time to take a touch and maybe just look to place it into that far post. Easier said than done with how fast they're recovering over to the side, but another good opportunity.
Oh, ever so close. Segrist vying for his first of the night as Williams coming off the pitch. Aaron Wheeler in for him. Wheeler from Baltimore, Maryland, making his 7th appearance of the season and now 7 matches. So Hurst and Bruce in for New Mexico. Wheeler in for Colorado Springs. Substitutions brought to you by the William J. Hidbull Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hidbullcenter.org today. It's like a slow drip of water, and then all of a sudden, someone turned the faucet fully on.
I haven't turned it off yet either.
That's right. That's certainly the case. Colorado Springs will get Charleston on April the 29th. New Mexico has a date with Orange County that same day. Chances abundant for both sides. Out wide here, Enriquez, and that thing just rolled off his right foot, and he's looking to the heavens saying why. Enriquez has had some moments tonight trying to create, that one on his foot looking for a goal. Could not materialize. Enriquez again. Enriquez trying to place that one onto a foot, but out comes Tambakis. See what New Mexico can do here.
This is the first time they've really had possession in their attacking half here in the last few minutes. Since those 2 goals happened 3 minutes apart, they haven't really found any rhythm higher up the field and have been scrambling, but now just able to kind of settle in. We saw that kind of on both sides. When New Mexico United scored, it took Switchbacks a while to find their rhythm again. Same thing here with the 2 goals from the Switchbacks. Now New Mexico United trying to build something here in the middle third.
It was almost a moment of being unfortunate if you're a Colorado Springs fan because of the activity, the aggression, and the execution. But now you put the pressure on New Mexico to now make plays,
right,
to steal a point. And you do have to feel for Tambakis, who's played so well in this match, but an unfortunate bounce off the foot of Schwartz. And then another goal that got past him by Skundrich, and he was left hung out to dry.
And that first goal just really changes the momentum of everything. It's such a letdown when that does happen. And the second one, his just vision is blocked there right in front. 2 defenders plus Skundrich right in front. It's very hard for a goalkeeper to do much.
Yearwood dropped, gets up, no foul being called. 80th minute now. So for New Mexico, who thought they had 3 points, then all of a sudden trimmed down to 1, and now they look up, and then they're in a world of hurt. One thing with Zach Prince, who we talked before the season had started, felt like he was content with the guys that he brought in, but really happy about the players that he retained. As Josh Suggs comes in to replace Harry Schwartz. Substitution brought to you by William J. Hibble, Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org today. Suggs, a local product from Las Cruces, New Mexico. .33 years of age, and love to do some damage for his team.
And that substitution is changing something tactically as well for New Mexico United in more of a 3-back now and a 3-5-2. So definitely looking to push a few more numbers forward. Suggs is going to be off that right side like Schwartz, but you can tell it's a definite 3-back, and he's going to have a higher position.
It looks like we'll have another substitution as Enriquez is coming off the pitch. Looks to be Jimmy Ockford. I said it moments ago, I'll say it again. The substitution brought to you by William J. Hibble, Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org. So the furniture being changed around a little bit. Obviously the idea is being implemented by both technical staffs. Some for offense, some for defense. We'll see if it all pays off. Mahoney. Tightrope walking that sideline, needs to get that ball back. Nearly did. Somehow Colorado Springs maintaining possession, and we got a troublesome foul here by Austin Yearwood. A little frustration too.
So incredibly smart from Wheeler, just not the best touch there, just getting his body right in front. This just eats away at the clock, and if you're the Switchbacks, that's exactly what you want.
Wheeler from Baltimore, Maryland, 7th appearance of the season. Made his debut with FC Tampa Bay back in 2010, many moons ago.
And there you just see just that little look over the shoulder. Where are you coming from? I know you want to try to get this ball forward. You're behind, so I'm going to use that momentum against you and get a set piece.
They worked short and quickly, did Colorado Springs. Get the ball back though. Williams outside, this one placed in. Skundrich trying to create there. Moreno back in the defense. New Mexico trying to push this thing into the attacking third. Sammy Hamilton. Hurst was asking for it. Hurst, ooh, just a little bit too tall for him. Wheeler, I don't know about that one. Wheeler goes down again. Hamilton not providing a big argument. 84th minute.
And Wheeler just gets on the turn, that little tug. And this is what you're going to see a little bit longer as the game goes on, is they're trying to get back into the game as much as possible, but that plays right into the hands of the Switchbacks.
So we'll see how this all unfolds, but killing some precious seconds off the clock. Wheeler giveth and taketh. Wheeler called for the foul here. did not result in a booking, but nevertheless, Ryden not feeling comfortable right now. Ryden left in a vulnerable spot too.
And just a bit of an awkward challenge all around, and a lot of the times when you don't go for the challenge, as Wheeler kind of backed out, but there's still contact, you're going to get called for the foul no matter what.
In real time, Colorado Springs a point behind Sacramento. They'd be in the second spot, with New Mexico sitting 11th overall in the West. Coming into tonight's contest, Colorado Springs was in 4th, New Mexico 11th. One difference between New Mexico and Las Vegas is Las Vegas has yet to lose, yet to win. 4 draws in 4 matches. Las Vegas, though, hasn't even played a home match yet. Coming out, though, Herrera again. That is plenty of harmful contact against Hamilton, and Herrera gets himself a booking. Unbelievable play. Christian Herrera twice tonight has made some mind-numbing plays that have hurt his team.
Yeah, that was a bit awkward there. I mean, that ball playing in behind, it looked like there was going to be not much of an issue. Both defenders with the position to really just kind of guide this back in. New Mexico United keeping it going. And really, I don't know if there's much need to come out. There was a touch there by Hurst before, and then the contact after. Looks like it's just going to be a corner kick, though.
Wow. That is a break. Hurst went down. I just don't know what Herrera's thinking there.
Well, the thing is, if he comes out, he's got to come out and get that ball quickly, and the defenders have to help as much as possible to just shield in and make sure no one can get through. And they don't do a good job of that either, because you're supposed to clear that space for the goalkeeper. So either way, that cannot happen on such an easy play.
Back-to-back corner kicks here. That one not well placed, and Wheeler gets it out of harm's way, at least for the time being. Suggs on his touch, and New Mexico trying to maintain possession. Suggs and company trying to fight for it. Bruce is there. Watch out. This one comes all the way back to Tambakis. Time winding down in this contest. Colorado Springs trying to chop New Mexico down. Hurst looking for some action. This ball played into the top of the box, but given away. Intercepted nicely by Foster on a run here. Foster with some space, and now he just wants to chew up more clock, and alertly he does. Swung around briefly by Seymour, and Seymour is going to earn himself a booking in the 88th minute. I don't know if I agree with that call. Do you, Casey?
Well, it's a momentum stopper. I mean, it's incredibly clever by Malik Foster to go 1v1 and then decide not to. It's just the grab, and it's so intentional. That's why he goes for the card. But it's a little harsh. I'd agree with you on that. But it definitely does stop play. But it's not to his advantage to do that. This is good for the Switchbacks.
Seymour letting his frustrations out. So a yellow card for him in the 88th minute. Yellow card brought to you by Diversus Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. Make sure you stay with us at the conclusion of this match. Casey now have the man of the match. Got a couple of ideas of who it'll be. Want to give a hint?
They'll have to wait and see.
All right. That's what they call it, a tease in the TV world. As we're now in the 90th minute. Echeverria sporting some blood. Echeverria trying to wipe that blood off on his kit. See how long that blood does last. Yearwood. Will give and go action. No, Moreno sits on it. Mondo plays that over, and now it's back to Yearwood. Moreno just behind him. Yearwood with that left foot. Mahoney, fantastic positioning. Drawn on that back line for Colorado Springs. Corner kick though for New Mexico.
And this is dangerous. This could be the last opportunity. I mean, there'll be some extra time, I'm sure, but I would get everyone forward as much as possible because you may not have this point blank moment.
It was a pretty good idea. And that corner kick brought to you by Pikes Peak, National Bank. Bank well, be well, cheer loud. Officials have indicated 3 minutes of stoppage time here as Echeverria. See that TikTok shot? Echeverria getting some attention right now with that blood coming down. It was gushing for a good couple of minutes. Take a peek at it.
Yeah, just getting the worst end of that elbow coming through, and he was definitely the aggressor going in there for the challenge, but it was ill-timed for him.
He was running around for a while, as they would say, he's now wearing it. Shots in this contest favoring Colorado Springs, 13-8, 5-2 on target. .54% on the 53%, excuse me, in the possession column. Fans in attendance here tonight at Widener Field have been rowdy throughout. There hasn't been a moment of lull.
There hasn't been. Even in the first half where there were no goals, the fans were so into it, and both teams have given them something to get them even more going in this second half.
Echeverria will depart. Dennis Erdman will come in for him. Substitution brought to you by William J. Hibble, Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org today. Erdman from Kirpen, Germany. Started his pro playing career in Germany in 2011. Is with 1860 Munich for a couple seasons. Now making his way to North America. Colorado Springs wins tonight. It'll be the 4th time ever in 14 matches that they had beaten New Mexico. They still got work to do, though. See if they can find some late magic. That looked pretty clean to me, but Wheeler goes down, tumbling down, and Hurst is hot for good reason.
It'll be interesting to see how good or not good of a tackle that was, because it was either sold very well or it was actually late. But again, this just really slows things down. We can take a quick look at it. A free ball here in midfield. And yeah, just a little bit late getting the touch here. And you can just see as he comes in, having to change direction, the touch there, and then both legs coming through. But hey, worth it there in midfield. You win that, you're able to go in the opposite direction. They're still searching for the goal here. And it's big this early in the season. The amount of places that they can jump in the standings by getting a point or 3 points for both of these teams is huge.
Yeah, massive. The pros and the cons weigh themselves out. And there was a lot of pro there for Hurst, but did not pay off. Stoppage time here. And New Mexico looking for any kind of opportunity at target. Colorado Springs holds on. We'll have 13 points. 2nd place in Western Conference play. Monitor Joshua Encarnacion, the lead official tonight. See if he's looking at that watch. Echeverria, who went down as soon as we hit stoppage time, needed some medical attention because of his nose. He was bleeding. So it took off a good 90 seconds. Yearwood having to pick up the pace. That one played in. Not a great idea. Yearwood was the intended recipient. That thing was nullified. Tambakis coming all the way out of his net. Alex has to be careful. Ooh, Rivas, and we have contact about 30 yards out from target.
And that would have been dangerous if that hadn't been called. That was bouncing into the penalty area on the long service. And just right there, you could see, well, I don't believe it was that last one. It looked almost like it was that first contact, because right there is a great challenge from Rivas to help it on.
Yeah, Rivas delivering the blow. Encarnacion delivering the final shot, though, that says that will be that. So Colorado Springs down 1-0. Did not play bad by any stretch of the imagination. They found the equalizer courtesy of a Harry Schwartz own goal. But then all of a sudden, Drew Skundrich in the 70th minute gets the game-winning goal. The man of the match provided by Better Business Bureau. He did it all here tonight.
What a second half. So much back and forth, and his goal was the difference here. It was so timely, coming 3 minutes after that first goal. It was a big moment for him.
Sweet passing from him. Williams with the helper on it. And for Colorado Springs, their 4th one of the season in 7 matches. Good for 13 points. New Mexico falls to 1-3-1. That'll do it here from Widener Field. Colorado Springs victorious. 2-1 was the final. And his last call here from Widener Field. Fireworks on display for those in attendance and those that are watching at home. We had 3 goals all happening in the second half. Colorado Springs comes from behind to win this thing. 2-1 was the final score. And with Casey White, I'm David Gascon putting a bow on this thing. Casey, take it away.
Well, this was an interesting game. A lot of possession, 58% to the Switchbacks early in the game. Right here, stepping in and almost getting an opportunity was Henriquez. Tambakis able to put that over the top. And this is a lot of what you would see in that first half. A lot of Switchbacks early on, some frustration there for New Mexico United. But then this is where it would all change. Some confidence to play out of the back from Herrera, but into Speedy Williams. A lot of pressing from New Mexico United. And right there, Moar catches Herrera not coming back across and gets the first goal of the game.
So odd to see Christian Herrera make that kind of a gaffe, and he got demoralized for that for a brief moment. It felt like New Mexico was going to steal 3 points, but Colorado Springs, they did not give up.
New Mexico United did great after they scored, but then right here, the Switchbacks come across. Unfortunate for Schwartz, he dives and tries to block, but it sends Tambakis the wrong way, and it wrong foots him, goes into the goal, and that's what the Switchbacks would need to get back into this one. But again, in the 70th minute, double the lead as Williams does so well in his hold-up play, plays it forward. This turn from Malik Foster, just so great. and finding the space across the box. The organization, Speedy Williams, and then Skundrich puts it away.
Our halftime stats, and now leading into our full-time stats, brought to you by Broadmoor Cryotherapy. Full-time stats, though, also brought to you by Broadmoor Cryotherapy. Score, shots, possession, it all in favor of the home team. They earned this victory.
They did. They played really well in the first half, but became more dangerous in the second half. Gave a little more possession back to New Mexico United in that second half to make it more even. But on the day, got more goals, was able to get that 2-1 victory.
And for New Mexico, they fought a 1-3-1 on the season. Colorado Springs improves their record to 4-2-1. They're at Charleston Battery next week, while New Mexico takes on Orange County. For my broadcast partner, Casey White, I'm David Kaska, and hope you enjoy this one. Colorado Springs wins it 2-1 as the final. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. So long.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.